Mark here for another great Wisdom and Knowledge by podcast episode. And this week, I want to discuss how to get what you want in life. Now, as someone who has, accomplished many things, I've seen one, miracle after another, whether it be, booking a guest for the podcast, something happening in life, you name it. I'm somebody who believes that you have to be confident. You have to believe that, miracles can happen. You have to have faith. You have to, you know, uh, fully, commit to what you want out of life. And that is what it takes. And we're living in a society that, so many people are just complacent. They're just, they're doing this, that, or the other. And they either they don't have goals or they're not, interested in accomplishing something. And I'm somebody who's completely different, and I like to surround myself with others who, you know, uh, want to make the most out of life, want to, you know, uh, do what they want to set goals, want to attain these goals, shatter these goals, you name it. And as someone who, you know, is all about, standing for humanity, human rights. I think it's important, especially in this day and time, because things radically changed after 2020, that you have to, first off, believe in yourself first, then go for whatever it is you want to do out of life and believe that it will happen and realize that there's so many other people across the world who are, going through what if you're going through something, let's say, there's so many other people across the world that are going through the same thing that you're going through. So don't sweat when things come up, but believe that you can attain goals, that you can shatter goals, that you can, make the most out of life. That is what it takes. It takes, a belief system like no others. No matter where you are in life, you can, you know, uh, change things. You can, create things. You can manifest things into your life. You name it, because you have the power over your life to control your life. We're living in a society where so many people are sucked into, politics. So many people are sucked into, this, that, and the other. And when they should be focused on, their life, their goals, you name it, they should set their priorities straight, and that is what it takes, setting your priorities straight, realizing that, if you have goals, that you can meet them, that you have the power to make these goals happen no matter what situation you're in, and strive and do whatever it takes to get there, because that is what it takes. And as someone who, sees the way that the world is shifting and what is going on, it can't all be, oh well, the world's gonna turn into this because that and the other, and I'm not gonna be able to fulfill my goals. You have the power to stand. You have the power to you know do what you want in life, and to, for me, it's a no-brainer. I'm called to, encourage others to be a light in this world, to stand for humanity, to you know, do everything I can to be a difference maker. So as someone who, is a quote unquote difference maker in the world, I think it's important to have goals. I think it's important to strive to be the best, to go above and beyond expectations. And we're living in a society, yeah, I get it, where, some pretty, evil people are ruling, or should I say, attempting, to be the ruling class and to just, you know, rule out humanity and, do everything to go against humanity. But and it is challenging, but that is something that we must take on as humanitarians, as people who stand for humanity, as people who have goals, people who have dreams, people who have aspirations. We can't let them decide what we're going to do with our life. We can't let them rule over us. A prime example is something like the TikTok ban, which is all but pretty much set in place. They might have the Supreme Court here, but it's going to be very difficult. And ByteDance definitely is not going to sell to a U.S. company, and they're not going to have that algorithm. So if something does happen where it's saved, it's not going to be TikTok. And so many people are affected by this. But it just goes to show how not only how evil these people are, but how we can say, hey, no, we're going to take a stand. Me, I'm still on TikTok. I'm still promoting my content left and right. I'm still making a difference on TikTok. And until it's gone, I'm gonna be there until the end. And when TikTok goes, I'll find another platform to be a light and to make a difference in this world because that's what we're called to do is be difference makers, in my opinion. So many people just want to be complacent, and that's not me. And there's a lot of people out there that want to make a difference in this world, and it takes connection. It takes connecting with them. It takes you know finding those people. And I get that can be challenging, that can be difficult at times, especially someone like me who's not the least bit political. I mean, I've interviewed about people who run for political office and such. I just interviewed the a libertarian candidate for president, but I don't let politics rule my life. I don't, follow it. I am all about, humanity and what is best for humanity and standing for humanity. I'm not into a divide and conquer game. And, this week I just wanted to come on. It's the holiday season. I know people are either ecstatic, some people are down. Whatever you may be feeling this holiday season and into the new year, and it's this great episode great chance to, do this episode because people make, what do they do January 1st or January? New Year's resolutions, so, and, some people stick to them, some people don't do what they say they're going to do. But people do make New Year's resolutions. So what a perfect time to talk about, how to get what you want out of life. You have to be fearless. You have to be, confident. You have to say, hey, look, this is what I want out of life. This is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to, these are the steps I need. Yeah, it takes planning. It takes knowing what you want out of life. But you have the power to do that. You have the power to change any situation in your life too. If you're not where you want to be, then you have the power to change that and for the better. So many people don't realize that, but your potential is, incredible. You have so much potential in yourself. The human uh, is so incredible that they have powers that and potentials that, they couldn't imagine. So don't let anything stop you, set your goals, set your commitments, set what you do, come up with a plan as to what you want to get out of life. Go for it and strive for it. And you're going to hit obstacles. You're going to find things that, get in the way. You're going to, there's going to be ups and downs, but you can not only that you can control your emotions, you can control what happens, and you cannot let that get in your way of your ultimate goal. And maybe things don't turn out the way that you think they would turn out. Maybe they turn out completely different. Maybe it's much better than you expected. You never know. And important thing is success is just a decision away. When you make that decision that, hey, I'm going to go for this, this is what I want, you know, then you have the power to attain that. You have the power to, achieve whatever it is you want. Bottom line, so many people uh, don't comprehend, don't understand their full potential. And especially in today's society, where so many people have become complacent. And I'm not saying that mass amounts have become complacent. But there's so many people out there in society that you see that they're not reaching their full potential, and there's others that are, of course, but we have the power to reach our full potential. We have the power to, create miracles in our life, and we have the power to be blessed. And we will, by believing, by standing on it, we know that we can achieve whatever it is that we want to achieve. And we must not let nothing stop us. When you want something out of life, you're put on, here's the prime example. You're put here on earth for a reason, in my opinion. You know, People don't get it. And my reason is to make a difference in society, make a difference, make an impact. Stand for humanity, stand for peace, stand for human rights. And yes, I have goals. Yes, I have dreams. Yes, I have ambitions, and I'm confident, and I know that I can achieve that. I know that I can, you know, obtain anything it is that I want to obtain because I am all about, you know, standing on what I believe, standing on what I want, and going for it. You have to be a risk taker. You have to say, hey, you know, what is it that I want out of life, and how am I going to get there? It's funny. As someone who's, went for things and achieved them, I come from, growing up in Michigan to going to, major cities like Chicago and then LA and, you name it, and I always had, goals. I always had dreams. I always knew what I wanted out of life. And it's incredible to see, the way that my life has transformed, the way that my life has shifted, because I come from, growing up in, one of the major cities in Michigan. So it wasn't by any means small, but it wasn't, LA or Chicago or anything. To going to Chicago, going to LA, and I went to LA because, at that time I wanted to get into acting. I'm not really interested in that anymore. I don't mind interviewing guests who are actors because there's so much that you can learn from them, and I love hearing about their fascinating stories. And the same thing goes with musicians. But you know, as someone who, I remember way back when I wanted to get into acting, and this was after high school. I didn't grow up saying I want to become an actor. I want to get into acting. I want to do this. I want to no. This was, when I was out of high school, I was taking acting courses at the community college, and then the civic theater. I wanted to become an actor. And I remember I was doing a scene, and after the scene, the scene to begin with, it was a love scene, and it was a classmate, you know, and she did a great job. I did a great job, but there's no romantic spark or no romantic interest between the two of us, which probably didn't matter. Anyways, I was doing the scene, and then the instructor says, "Well, I would have liked to have seen more emotion out of you," to me. And then it's funny, you never know what's going to happen in life. One of my classmates, she gets up and she goes, excuse me, I was sitting on this side of the room and I saw tons of emotion out of Mark. I have no clue what you're talking about. I mean, see, in life, you never know what's going to happen. You never know. And I, it surprised me that she said that. I mean, but I remember this instructor telling me, and this is an instructor at a community college in West Michigan, in Grand Rapids, Michigan, telling me, "Well, you have a long way to go," and it's like, okay, I, and I was just like, screw it, I didn't let that get in my way, and lo and behold, I moved few years later to Chicago. Before that, I, worked on a TV show in Wilmington, where I live now, One Tree Hill, playing a, 24-year-old high school student, just in a scene in the at the studios, in a high school scene. Anyways, uh, and that's what, initially sparked my interest in living in Wilmington, and it's a great place. I mean, it's incredible. But when you get what you want out of life, when you set goals, when you attain goals, when you achieve goals, when you know what you want out of life, you can achieve these things. I went from Michigan to Chicago, and Chicago was great. I lived there a couple of years, and it wasn't really anything with acting at the time when I was there. I mean, they have stuff now, but I enjoyed the city life, the you know sports at the time. I was a big sports fan back then. Not so much anymore outside of like soccer, college football, few, but that's beside the point. Anyways, so I went there, and it's all about taking risks. It's all about deciding what you want out of life and going out there and getting it. So, I'm in Chicago, and I just decide that, hey, I want to go to LA. Let's look into it. Let's see you know what it is in comparison to Chicago. And sure enough, there was places that were similar, rent and everything. So I was able to go to Chicago. I mean, so I was able to go to LA, which was definitely an experience. Living in the LA area for 10, a little over 10 years. And when I was there, for fun, when I was working jobs, uh, and also taking college courses, which I took for to get into business management. Anyways, what I, was able to experience was doing a lot of work on these TV shows. And what, it was an experience to say the least. I mean, in these shows, you'd be on location, you'd be in the studios, whether it be Warner Brothers Studios, Disney Studios, Manhattan Beach Studios, Paramount Studios, you name it. I worked at them all. I worked at all the studios. Uh, you know, so I had that experience. Universal Studios, okay, you name it. And I would play all different. I still got the vouchers of just about every show I worked on. And you'd play like pedestrian, FBI, lawyer, anything under the sun. I played a cop a couple of times. I played someone with a plague, ready to die. But you name it, all kinds of different roles. And when you realize that a lot of stuff is predictive programming, this is just my opinion and my experience, and just talking to others, that a lot of this stuff is predictive programming, or it's, you know, uh, a way to, control people's thinking, control people's thoughts. I'm like, yeah, this thing really isn't for me, especially in 2016 when they had all the, at the end of 2016 when the election came, it was just like all the same narrative. Everything was, written, tearing down statues, tearing down statues, tearing down statues was like the norm for all the shows, for what you'd be booked, or something along that lines. And I was just like, no, you know what? This is not me. This is not what I want to do. And I was doing it as a side job anyways to begin with, but it no longer became, fun, no longer became purposeful. So I moved on, and then eventually I, moved uh, out of LA, and, I was, then I went to Vegas for a year, to experience that because I transferred with my work. And then I was most recently before Wilmington, I was in Phoenix for a few years, which was a great opportunity, a great experience. I met some great people who were, humanitarians getting what was going on in the world, and just it was an incredible experience to say the least. So now, I've been here in Wilmington about a year and a half. And for me, it's just, I'm really, grateful to be here. I'm, I really appreciate the city. I like just the way that everything's set up. I'm, uh, try to make the most out of everything here. And I'm someone, and I live, 8 minutes from the beach, 8 minutes from the downtown harbor front. And there's just like so much opportunity here for it being a smaller city. It's thriving. It's still got over 100,000 people, and there's still enough to do. And so, I'm somebody who just, knew that, this was a great opportunity. And that's what it takes is you realizing, taking a leap of faith, whatever you want to call it, knowing what you want in life, going out there, striving to get it, and letting nothing get in your way, because that's what it takes. So I just wanted to come on, and just encourage others, and just to let everyone know that you have the power to achieve your goals. You have the power to let nothing get in your way from doing what you want to do with your life. So continue, to set goals, continue to, uh, do what you want to do out of life, and continue to, strive to achieve greatness, because you have to realize just how great you are and what you can accomplish. And it is, such a rewarding experience taking that step, and going towards things that you want. I know when it comes to like things like this podcast, or I did another podcast before, and just interviewing. Yeah, the people that I've interviewed is just incredible. Whether it be big names or whether it be people, that just everyday people, sharing their life experience, standing for humanity, you name it, whatever it may be, discussing important topics that affect the world, and it's just been such an incredible ride. And I know that I have so much more to accomplish, so much more to achieve. And I continually strive to set new goals, to be fearless and just let nothing stand in my way. And that is what it takes. So, Happy New Year to everyone. Much love. I hope you had a nice Christmas. And I just want to encourage everyone to go out there and do what you want in life. Do whatever steps it takes to achieve that, because that's what it takes. You know, is you being fearless, you going out there saying, "Hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to accomplish this." And if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to hit that subscribe button on whatever platform you are checking out the Wisdom and Knowledge 5 podcast. I got some great guests coming up in the new year, and it's going to be an incredible ride here on Wisdom and Knowledge 5. Much love and peace to all of humanity.